Spider-Man fans, my name is Chris. It is a spectacular day in the neighborhood whenever we get to talk some Spider-Man in our lives. And lately with Spider-Man 3, there has been an abundance of rumors and hell, even villains joining the cast of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's literally all I could think about and wonder what is going on, and we still have this movie 1 year away, at least for me, making this video. So what I thought I'd go ahead and bring to you guys today is the top theories surrounding Spider-Man 3. Now these just ain't no regular theories being tossed around here and there. These are the ones going around the Spider-Man fan community that I consider probably a little plausible, at least 2%. And even if they're not, hell, there are just some interesting things to speculate about, okay? So I'm gonna need you Spider-Man fans to leave me your opinions down below. Out of all these theories that we discussed here today, which Spider-Man 3 theory got you the most interested, got you thinking, you know what, that might actually happen? Or which one were you like, dude, did you pull that one out of your behind? Or hell, even leave your own theory down below. Everybody's got to have one. Because right now, I don't know how any of this movie makes sense with the amount of characters and rumors about this film. Alright, so the first theory that we're going to get into for Spider-Man 3 is J. Jonah Jameson is responsible for the Sinister Six. One thing that's become pretty clear about Spider-Man 3 is that we're about to see the most villains ever put to film in a Spider-Man movie, okay? That's right, they're going to try and topple Spider-Man 3's record with Tobey Maguire, also Andrew Garfield's record in Amazing Spider-Man 2. So far confirmed, we have Electro Jamie Foxx joining in, Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, and pretty much a given, Scorpion will be coming into the movie. As far as rumor and reports going around, that leaves us with Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, as well as Thomas Hayden Church being pursued to sign on for Spider-Man 3. There's even people saying Dane DeHaan is also being looked into to be brought back as his version of the Green Goblin. Like, where's my love for James Franco, man? After 2020, I just want to see him eat that piece of cake again with a little joy in his eye. So with the number of villains here, they obviously have enough characters to make the Sinister Six something that's been long wanted by Spider-Man fans to show up in a movie. And with Spider-Man Far From Home ending the way it did, with Peter Parker's identity being public knowledge, it is the perfect setup for the Sinister Six to come, and the one person that could make it happen would be J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons. It's already being said that he's going to have a larger role in Spider-Man 3. No idea what that means, because the last time his role was on screen, he was for about 30 seconds, so a larger role could entail 2 minutes. But if we look into the comic books of what J. Jonah Jameson once did, is he hired Matt Gargan to go after Spider-Man. The exact same thing can go down here in the live-action version, where J. Jonah Jameson will get online to his internet blog, the Daily Bugle, and go ahead and call out for the arrest of Spider-Man with a reward in mind. In a sense, being the one who causes the Sinister Six to form together to reap the rewards that J. Jonah Jameson is offering to the public. This really makes the most sense here, because if Spider-Man really is a public enemy and he is actually being targeted for the murderous crime of Mysterio, who to the public they believe him to be an actual superhero that got murdered by the hands of Spider-Man, this is a perfect reason for a whole bunch of villains to want to join up together to try and catch him, take him down, and then split the reward, if these villains even want to go ahead and split a reward. Even before the whole multiverse was beginning to look like a thing for Spider-Man 3, fans had this theory in mind a lot, especially for the idea of Kraven the Hunter coming in. Because obviously about halfway or towards the third act of the movie, it would be pretty clear that Peter Parker would be found innocent of the crimes and that bounty on his head would go away, but Kraven the Hunter, being the man that he is, has already gotten a taste for the hunt and just wants nothing more than to catch Spider-Man just for the reward of being the ultimate predator. Theory number 2 here is basically the Spider-Verse trilogy. One thing that has been bothering me a lot with this whole Spider-Man event that's seeming to be happening in Spider-Man 3, where we're going to have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield show up towards the final end of the movie, and there's going to be a big battle joining all the Spider-Men together. Yeah, it sounds amazing and sweet, but also there was no setup to it. There was really no buildup. It feels like it's going to come out of nowhere, and I don't see how about an hour before that event happens, they can make that event feel complete. So in true Marvel fashion, Spider-Man fans have gathered around the idea that this right here is the setup. That Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up is only going to be the beginning of what is said to be the next trilogy for Spider-Man. There's already been reports going around that Sony and Marvel have come again to extend the deal for Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Spider-Man to stay in the MCU. Because if you guys didn't know, as of right now, the contract was coming to a close where there was only 2 Spider-Man movies left, a solo movie and a team-up film. Once Spider-Man 3 is over, we still have a team-up film coming up with Tom Holland Spider-Man, but after that, he was going to be leaving the MCU. And I think it's pretty clear if Sony wants their own Spider-Man universe to continue with Venom, Morbius, and whatever else they have in mind, it's probably best to keep Tom Holland in the MCU so they can leech off the MCU and say, oh yeah, we're technically in it too because of the multiverse. So with this theory, it says by the end of Spider-Man 3, when all 3 Spider-Men have saved the day, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, it's only logical that they try and find a way to bring them back into their own realities, where Tobey Maguire will have to go back to Sam Raimi's universe, Andrew Garfield will have to go back to the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and that right there is the setup for the Spider-Verse event, where we'll see these 3 Spider-Men going back to their separate universes, and as fans, we can finally find out what the Tobey Maguire universe looks like years later, and really the possibilities are endless, whether they make it a one conjoined event, or each Spider-Man ends up getting his own movie that Sony can produce, while Marvel does their own thing and Tom Holland stays in the MCU. Especially if you look at the Morbius trailer, it really looks like that Morbius movie takes place in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man universe because, well, they use the Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit. If you look at the logos for the Daily Bugle, they're the same as the Sam Raimi universe and not what was shown in the post-credit scene of Far From Home. So while everyone's hoping that Tom Hardy's Venom will eventually fight Tom Holland, he could be the Venom for either Andrew Garfield or a rebooted version for Tobey Maguire. To me, if you bring back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, it's only smart if you try to lock them in for a couple of more movies. Why would you just bring them for extended cameos? Nah, man. You gotta milk that Spider-Verse event, and we're happy to pay for it. Theory number 3, Mysterio is behind the entire Spider-Verse event. This right here was a theory I came up with on my own, and I thought to myself, oh, I'm a genius. No one's ever thought of this. I'm so clever. I can't wait to share it on my channel. And then when I did my digging throughout the Spider-Man community about what other theories are out there, this was basically the #1 theory that everybody had thought of, making me feel like an idiot. It's pretty self-explanatory, especially if you look at the thumbnail for this video right here, that the Spider-Verse event is actually a huge fake out and it's all being contrived by Mysterio, who somehow is still alive, or actually still dead. Let me explain. There's actually a lot of things in here that back up this theory. For one, you gotta remember the backstory that Mysterio told to the public, or at least to the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., is that he is a superhero that comes from the multiverse, a different Earth, who somehow traveled to our Earth to stop these beings that are gonna take over Earth and basically destroy it. And through the events of Far From Home, and also if you're just a general Spider-Man fan, you know Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio was just spewing some BS and was in fact just another butthurt Tony Stark employee that wanted to take out the anger on Tony Stark's little friend boy. Spider-Man 3, just whatever you do, don't do that again. I can't do that. Don't make a whole trilogy like that. But Mysterio, being the brilliant man he is, knew that if he lost to Spider-Man, he had a couple tricks up his sleeve to make sure his presence was known. Leaking that tape to the Daily Bugle and saying that Spider-Man was the one who murdered him was just phase 1, and the second phase will be hologramming to life Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and playing up that theory that they're the Spider-Man from the universe that Mysterio came from, as well as popping up a whole bunch of other villains. I understand the idea and the logic behind it because us as Spider-Man fans, we just don't want to believe that Mysterio died. We like to think he had a contingency plan, because even if he is dead and he's gone for life, there's still the matter of those employees who were helping Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio that just got away and were never arrested, and could be the ones acting out this fake Spider-Verse event to make Mysterio look like the hero, and they can just continue making him look like Mysterio's alive through the use of holograms without really needing Jake Gyllenhaal to physically be there. While this would be an awesome twist and would just make Mysterio an even more badass villain, I think a lot of fans would be pissed off to max level if you faked this out on the Spider-Verse event and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were just not real. But then if you really stop to think about it, with all these characters in the movies, it feels like they're just gonna be in the film for like 5 seconds as little cameos, and that would make perfect sense if they were just popped up holograms that were supposed to work as Easter eggs or little fan service for fans. If they decide to bring back Mysterio to life, I would rather him come back as a hologram and join the Sinister Six. But that's just my opinion. It would still be crazy if within the final act you just start seeing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield glitch up and go, "Ah, damn it. But those are just some theories concerning Spider-Man 3 that I found fascinating that I feel could actually happen, or at least there's a 2% chance. They're probably not any of these gonna happen, but there are still so many great ones out there that I've seen that I didn't even dive into, like the fact that if Emma Stone is coming back to play Gwen Stacy and she died in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, that means she must come from her own universe where she is Spider-Woman, aka Spider-Gwen, and that's a whole movie spin-off that Sony can go ahead and do. But I guess we'll have to wait and see in a year when we are all proven wrong, or maybe one of these is slightly proven true to an extent. I want to hear from you Spider-Man fans down below. Which of these theories got you pumped? Which were you like, oh, okay, I can see that happening, or no, I don't like that at all? As well as don't be forgetting to leave me your theories down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.